In today's 1500-point narrative battle, we will have to see if a loyal contingent of the Cadian members of the Astra Militarum can survive as the Knights of House Cadmus come barreling down towards them with murder on their machine minds. These loyal Astra Militarum of Cadia have been tasked with investigating and securing this comms relay tower. However, now a more immediate threat has come onto their hands as unbidden. Those who they thought were their allies, the Knights of House Cadmus, are raining down hellfire upon the loyal defenders of the Imperium. So, given no other option, it looks like a firefight is going to have to take place as the Voxman of the command squad attempts to get orders through the static of the Vox network. So, in this narrative mission, the Astra Militarum's objective is quite simple. Each turn, this 4-man command squad with the Vox, Melta, and Metapack will be performing an action on the Vox antenna. On a 3-up, they relay part of the signal that is needed to get House Cadmus to belay their orders to slaughter the Imperial Guard. However, each of the knights that are within 12 inches of the comms relay tower will give a -1 penalty to that action succeeding. So 1 knight within 12 makes it a 4-up, 2 knights within it make it a 5-up, 3 knights get within it, a foot of it, it is a 6-up, and then 4, it is impossible. Once the Voxman is able to complete that action the 4th time, enough of the Imperial Guard's message have come through to relay that somewhere in the order of command, the messages got mixed up, and House Cadmus will stop their attack, and the victory will be in the Imperial Guard. If they cannot do that, House Cadmus and the Knights win with a total eradication of the Imperial Guard, or if the action is not completed by the end of their 7th turn. So, possibility of going a little bit longer than a normal game. So we'll see how long the Imperial Guard can hold out against the might of the Knights. We have 1 battalion of Imperial Guard all set up and ready to defend their stronghold. We're going to be starting on the full 12 command points. The Warlord here is the company commander who is still ordering and panicking to get his Vox squad to get the message out across the comms tower. We have 6 infantry squads, 3 with a missile launcher that are on the table defending the stronghold, and 3 with Voxcaster and Plasma in the Chimeras, ready to be the front line of defense. Then from right to left, we have our 2nd HQ, a tank commander with Demolisher, Sponson heavy bolters, and Hull las cannon. He has the Warlord trait of a tank ace of -1 damage. We have a heavy weapons squad of 3 las cannons and a platoon commander to give them orders. Tech Priest Engine Seer hiding behind this building to heal up either the tank commander or our 2nd Lehman Russ with 3 heavy bolters and the plasma. 5-man Bullgren squad in front of the barricades, ready to run up and sell their lives. 2 of the Chimera with the plasma squads. And then finally a full payload Manticore. So with an extra tank ace, we have 11 CP to start. Cur of Zaquilla is on the Warlord, so 5-up CP regen. That's the forces of Cadian infantry. For the forces of 1500 points of House Cadmus, we have 2 of the Questoris Knights, a unit of 3 Warglaves, and a unit of 1 Helverin. The Warlord is going to be the Knight Paladin, who has Melt-A-Gun on his shoulder, the Missile Launcher up top, and his Warlord trait and relic is Sanctuary and Ion Bulwark. So a 5-up, feel no pain, or not feel no pain, invuln in combat, and a 4-up invuln versus shooting. And then our second Questoris is a Knight Warden with Stubber in the chest and no turret-mounted or hull-mounted weapons. And he will have the 2-up armor save relic for the army. So both of the bigger knights have been kitted out to be more survivable. And we shall see if they can do just that, as the mission is kill the enemies of the Emperor and destroy those who were once loyal Imperial Guardsmen. The knights are going to have first turn. No need to roll off. We're all deployed. So we will start the game, and we will start the knights marching down the table. In turn 1 for the knights, before anybody moves, I wanted to go over the oaths. So they have sworn to refuse no challenge and lay low the tyrants. So it's all about killing in melee. We need to kill 2 or more units in melee, as well as Warlord character, monster, or vehicles. And that's going to give us +1 to hit on the charge, was charged, or horror intervention. And reroll shoot or fight 1 hit or 1 wound roll for each of the models. The Paladin's Bondsman ability is going to go on to the Helverin. So that's reroll hit and wound of 1. And the Warden's ability isn't going to matter quite as much, as that is improving objective secured for objectives. So we'll say that it goes on to this middle Warglaive here, but that's not going to affect us any right now. So with that, we will go through the movement phase for the knights and come back as the guns start going off. On this flank, the Paladin and Helverin have moved their 10 and 12 inches respectively, just going behind this crater. Over here, we have 2 of the 3 Warglaives advancing. This one on the furthest flank got a 6, and then the one in the center rolled a 1. So they are not going to be shooting their big Melta weapons, but they will be still taking some pot shots with their hull-mounted Melta guns. And then this final third one in the ruin did just move, so he will have full options for his Melt-A-Gun to start melting, hopefully, some of the heavy armor of the Imperial Guard. So now we go on to shooting phase. We're going to start with the Warglaives. The one that did not advance, he is going to shoot into the Plasma Leman Russ. And then the 2 that advanced are both going to shoot their Melt-A-Guns at the furthermost on this flank Chimera. So, this Warglaive firing his thermal spear into the Plasma Executioner Leman Russ, hitting on 3s, hitting once, missing once. So he is going to choose to use his Oaths reroll on his hit. That's going to be a miss. And then it is Strength 9, Toughness 8. So a 2 is not going to do it. However, this is probably going to be the best chance to take one of the tanks out. So we will go down to 8 CP, get a wound, and at AP of -4, a 6-up save for the Leman Russ. Nope, that's not going to do it. And D6 damage. Only 1 damage onto the Leman Russ, so a little bit less than spectacular there, but opening shots are what they are. Now for the only Warglaive in range, we're going to have one melta-gun shot going into this Chimera on a 4 because he advanced, then on a 3, and then melta-gun is AP minus 4, so I do not believe that will be any save for the Chimera, so d6 damage for 2 damage. And unfortunately, we already used our reroll, so 2 damage on that Chimera. Now into the big guns from the Warden. All of his shots are going to go into the squad of Bulgrin, trying to remove one of the bigger bumps in the road. So, starting with the Avenger Gatling Cannon, 12 shots on 3s. And then this is Strength 6, Toughness 5, so 3s to wound. And then that is a full spread of hits. That's going to be 6 at -1 AP. So we will do these on the 2-up armor shields. I believe those are the slab shields. Yes, slab shields for 2-up armor save and brute shields for a 4-up invuln. So we can probably do these 2 at a time, since they are 2 damage apiece. So AP of -1 will be a 3-up armor. Make one fail one. So 2 damage gone through. Make another one. Alright, so that is 4 damage. I believe they are 3 wounds apiece. Then we have 2 more, so we will take these on the other slab shield for 3-up armor saves, and they make those. So, one of the Bulgrin removed from the Gatling Cannon. Now we'll do the chest-mounted stubber. Now the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber from the Warden into the Bulgrin on 3s. Then Strength 4, Toughness 5, so 5s. And we'll use our reroll here. So we've got 1 at AP -1. So we'll keep taking these on the 2-up armor save, so 3-up. Makes it. So the Bulgrin have survived pretty well against the Warden. Now we'll go on to the Helverin and the Paladin. Next up is the Helverin, and we are going to send all of the shots from the Helverin into this squad of infantry on the building. Set 4d3 shots from the 2 Armiger autocannons is going to give us 1, 3, 6, 8 shots. So it's 8 shots from the autocannons, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s from the bondsman ability, rerolling a 1, and then strength 7, toughness 3, so 2s, rerolling 1. That's going to be a total of 7 at -2 AP. They are in cover, so that'll bring it up to a 6-up armor save. And making none, so that is going to be 7 wounds taken onto the guardsman right here. And then finally, for the Helverin, we'll do the stubber on top, on 3s. And then on 3s. And we'll use the code to a reroll there. That'll be at an AP of -1. Brings them back up to their 5-up save. Makes 1 more. So that is a total of 8 wounds taken off of this squad. Finally, we have the Paladin. So his rapid-fire battle cannon is going to be going into this double heavy bolter Chimera. the stubber that is attached to the battle cannon is going to try to take off the last wound from this heavy weapon missile launcher. And then the Iron Storm missile launcher is going to go into the Bullgrins again. So, we're going to start with the rapid fire battle cannon. So it's going to be 2d6 shots for a total of 6 shots. 3s. And then strength 8, so 3s again. We'll use our reroll here. So that's going to be 4 at -2. Goes to -1 since guard vehicles have Armor of Contempt. So it's going to be a 4-up save. And each of them failed is going to be 3 damage. So I think the guard would want to use a CP reroll there. Nope, not getting it. So they are down to 10. And this Chimera is down to 1 wound remaining. Next up, we'll do the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber into the 1 remaining guardsman from this squad on a 3. And then Strength 4, Toughness 3. 3 at -1 AP. In cover will bring him back up to a 5-up save. So he does make 1, but that is not going to be enough. So that is 1 squad wiped. So 1 less anti-armor attack left. Now we have the Iron Storm Missile Pod going into the Bullgrin. So it's d6 shots. 2 shots. And on 3s, Strength 5, Toughness 5 into the Bullgrin. So we're going to have 1 going through and AP of -1. So we will continue to do it on the Slab Shield for a 3-up armor. And he makes it. So that's going to be the end of the shooting phase and the end of the turn, as nobody is in range of any good charges. And the few that did have advanced. Don't worry about that Bullgrin over there. He just is dead and needs to be put away. So that is turn 1 for the Knights, closing the gap very well. We shall see how well the Guard can respond as they desperately try to jam through communications for a ceasefire that they are not enemies to House Cadmus. Here at the start of turn 1 for the Guard, a couple of stratagems have been used. So that's going to take us down to 9 CP for the Guard. Jury rigging has been used on the Leman Russ here. It wasn't planning on charging, but it only had 1 wound lost, so it has regained its wound. Bring it back up to the full 12. And Relentless was spent from the Greater Good book onto this Chimera, so it will get to act on full wounds, or on its full top bracket. Then with that, we will go through the movement phase, since it is still an old book and no command phase abilities for the Guard, even though they're the ones with commands in the army. And we will come back at the start of the Guard shooting phase, where hopefully we will take 1 or 2 of the Knights out. At the start of the command phase, orders have been given out to the Guardsmen. So the Warlord has given take aim to the 2 infantry squads that are near him. That'll only affect the missile launchers, but that's full rerolls to hit. Speaking of take aim, the heavy Laz team has also been ordered to take aim. The Cadian tank commander has given himself Pound Them to Dust. And then finally for orders up here, this squad that got out of their 1 wound Chimera has been ordered to 1st rank fire, 2nd rank fire. And then across the field, the front lines have been made to shore up defenses and make sure that the armigers are slowed down and some less than ideal targets are presented right in the front. So with orders given out, we will go on to the shooting phase. Starting off the shooting phase with the tank commander, we're going to be doing a little bit of split firing for the shorter range of the Demolisher cannon. Demolisher cannon's going to go into this Warglaive that, from the looks of it, even used to serve with the Cadians. So must be some sort of bureaucratic mix-up that has caused this Warglaive to turn its blade and guns on the Cadians themselves, while the las cannon and heavy bolters will be going into the Night Warden. Assuming that a lot of the weapons are going to be firing into him, we're going to spend 2 CP on the Warden to rotate Ion Shield, so a 4-up invuln in our shooting phase. Let's see if Kurov's Aquila can get the guard 1 of those CP. And with a 1 and a 2, it will not. So we will go on to the shots from the tank commander. Starting with the Demolisher into the Warglaive. And we will reroll a number of shots for that. So that is going to be a total of 4 shots from the Demolisher cannon into this Warglaive on 3s. Could have rerolled the 1, so this is strength 10. So on 3s. So that is going to be 2 at -3 AP. 2 6-up saves against the Demolisher cannon. That is going to be 2d6 damage going into the Warglaive here for a total of 7. And there are definitely bigger fish to fry, so we would love for the Warglaive to be dead, but with 7 taken off of him, that'll bring him down to 5, and hopefully the infantry can get some good results with their lasgun and the plasma. Now the shots into the Warden. We'll start with the 6 heavy bolter shots on 3s, re-rolling 1s since we Arcadian and stood still. And then strength 5 on 5s. So that'll be 2 at AP -1. This is the Warden who has the armor of the Sainted Ion, so a 2-up armor save. So still a 3-up armor right there. So a save there. So make 1, fail 1. So that'll be 1 heavy bolter going through. So 2 damage. Hopefully won't be the biggest deal there. Then we will do the las cannon shot now. On a 4, makes it. Then las cannon into the knight. On a 1, will not make it in. And again, we have some more heavy weapon fire to deal with, so we will let it go through there. The Imperial Guard have used overlapping fields of fire, so that is going to be +1 to hit for other Acadian units that are targeting the Warden for the rest of this shooting phase. That's why we knew that rotating ion shields would be needed here. Next up, we're going to go on to the heavy weapons squad. So this is hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything from being Acadian and staying still. But it doesn't look like we needed the order, as we were all hitting. Then 3s to wound is where we get a little bit of an issue. We won't use a reroll there. So we've got 2 on 4 invulns. Make 1, fail 1. And I think a las cannon makes sense to try to re-roll the save. So that is a 5 and a 5 for the invuln save from the knight. So luckily, for the knights at least, those 3 las cannons end up doing nothing. Next up, for the anti-tank weaponry on this flank, it's the Plasma Leman Russ. So everything that he's got is going to go into the Warden. And since we are Cadian and rerolling 1s to hit since we stood still, I will choose to overcharge the turret weapon. This is going to be 2d6 for number of shots for the turret. So a total of 8 shots from the plasma and 9 heavy bolters. Plasma shots into the Warden. Alright, looks like we don't have any 1s that we need to re-roll. Then 5 hits, or, yep, 6 hits, rather. Strength 8, toughness 8, so wounding on 4s. That's going to be a total of 5 at -3 AP. So the 4 up armor, or 4 up invuln saves. Alright, so make 3 of them. Rotating definitely saved me 2 more. So 2 go through at 2 damage a time. So that'll bring him down to 18. And now it is 9 bolt gun shots. Or not bolt gun, heavy bolter shots. Heavy bolters. Rerolling our 1s for being Cadian. And then 5s to wound for a total of 3 at -1 AP. So goes to his armor save of a 3 up. And that'll make it. So 4 more damage from the Plasma Leman Russ. So definitely looks like he is starting to get chipped away at, but we should still be healthy so far, but we do have a lot of shooting to go. This infantry squad is going to fire everything that they've got into the Warglaive right in front of them. Plasma gun is also going to overcharge. So hitting on 4s, the red die are going to be plasma. So looks like we both have the plasma gun are hits. And I am just remembering Hammer of the Emperor, so that 6 will automatically wound. So probably came up plenty in other places, but trying to run 2 armies at the same time, a lot to think about. So 6s to wound on the black dice, and then strength 8, so 3s to wound on the red dice. So it looks like plasma didn't kill him, but at least didn't wound for the Warglaive. So that's going to be 3 at no AP onto the Warglaive. For 3 more wounds taken off the Warglaive, bringing it down to 2. This Chimera is going to go into the Warglaive here, since he is only on 2 wounds remaining, hoping to take one of the knights down. Probably would also make more sense to keep chipping away at the Warden, but if we can remove a whole model, that would be beneficial to this flank, since there is a bit of our anti-armor over here. So we'll start with the heavy bolter on 4s, then a 5. Nope. The multi-laser turret, 1 on a 5, and no AP for a 3 up. Alright, that will be 1 more damage done to the Warglaive, bring him down to 1. And then that is about this flank of the force fired. Next up is the full Paylord Manticore. So the heavy bolter is actually in range and line of sight of the Helverin. So heavy bolter will take a few pot shots there, and then we will let loose one of the missiles into the Warden in the back, trying to make use of our overlapping fields of fire. So 2d6 for the number of shots, for a total of 9 shots into the Warden. So the missile makes contact, and we are re-rolling our ones from Cadian staying still. So we have 2 automatic wounds, and then 5 more to wound on 3s. Ooh, alright, so full house of wounds there. That is going to be a total of 7 at AP minus 2. So 4 ups. Ooh, alright, and that will do the business. So this is full payload, so 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 wounds off of the Warden. Ooh. So this rocket definitely packed a punch, taking the Warden down to 3. Now, with about the last of the anti-tank weaponry, we're going to, just for time, do the 2 missile launchers from these 2 separate squads together into the Warden. So, hitting on 3s, re-rolling everything from the order. That's 1 automatic wound, and then a 4 up. So it's 1 wound on a 4th invuln save. Does not make it. And then d6 wounds, 2 wounds. So that is a Warden probably left on exactly 1 wound remaining after 1 turn of shooting from the Imperial Guard. That is definitely not what they wanted to see, or in terms of the Knights at least, but that should be just about all the anti-tank weaponry. We've got some guardsmen and their las guns going into the Helverin, as well as the Chimera, but the worst should be behind us by now. Just to consolidate it, we're going to fire the 3 heavy bolters across these 2 Chimera, both into the Helverin. So on 4s, 6s will automatically wound, and that's a good time for a bunch of 6s. And strength 5, toughness 7, needing 5s. Ooh, alright, there you go. So 6 at minus 1 AP, 4 up save for the Helverin. We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 of them through for 8 wounds taken, bringing him down to 4. We'll do the multi-laser from this Chimera now on 4s. All hitting and 1 automatically wounding. So 1 at a 3-up armor save makes it. And now we will do the rapid fire, or first rank, second rank into the Helverin. So here is the rapid fire las and plasma. The red dice are going to be plasma. We will overcharge for the plasma gun. So it looks like a whole bunch of hits, and I see a couple 6s in there. The Chimera with 1 wound remaining will take a charge through the craters into the Helverin. So he will overwatch with a total of 3, 6, 8, 9 shots. So we have 9 shots there. Needing 6s, so we get 1. Strength 7, so needing a 4. Makes it. At minus 2 goes to minus 1 AP. That will be the Chimera taken out. In Overwatch, does it explode? It does not, but that Chimera is taken out for its trouble of trying to charge the Helverin. This squad of guardsmen did make it in with the Warglaive, and actually got an 11 on their charge, so made it in with ease. So we're going to do their attacks into the Warglaive now. On 4s. And then on 6s. So, getting 1 wound at no AP. This could be enough. But a 3-up for the armor will save the Warglaive. And now, even though it's on its last bracket, it will fight back. In the fight back for the Warglaive, 1 CP has been spent on Impetuous Glory to give 6 exploding hits on 6s. So we've got 8 attacks with the sweep profile of the Chainglaive. So we get an exploding hit because of the 6. And then 2 more wounds there. So Strength 7, minus 3 AP, so 2s to kill, will be 3 of the guardsmen taken off the field. Remembering House Cadmus and the oaths that the knights took, we did the extra attacks and rerolls that they were allowed off camera, and I took 1 more guardsman off the table. So that is going to be 4 missing for morale plus a 6. So that is definitely a failure on the guardsman for morale. So 1's gone, and then on the 5 remaining, 1s and 2s will flee. So 2 more will flee. So that is now a total of only 3 guardsmen left in the fight. At the end of the turn, it is the roll for the action on the comms tower. So on a 3-up, the message of "Cease fire! Cease fire!" gets through the comms relay. And on a 6, that'll do it. So we now have 1 out of the 4 messages relayed through the Vox network as we go to turn 2 for the Imperial Knights. In turn 2 for the Imperial Knights, we have moved on up. 2 CP were spent, bringing us back down to 3 for Machine Spirit Resurgent, so the Warden will be on full wounds remaining. Curves Aquila finally did activate and bought the Guard 1 extra command point. The Bondsman ability has been placed on this Helverin here, the rerolling hits and wounds of 1, and then the Warden's objective secure, again, doesn't particularly matter. The Warglaive back here has moved on forward and is fallen out of combat, so you won't be able to fire, but should hopefully soak up a little bit of fire on turn 2 for the guard. And then with that, we will go through the shooting phase. At the start of the shooting phase, we're going to spend 1 more CP for the knights, bringing us down to 2 on thin their ranks. So that allows me to pick up to 3 Warglaives, or Ormagers rather, so that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. For 6s, automatically wound the target when rolling to hit. So that should hopefully allow us plenty of space to get more of the infantrymen off the board. With that, we're going to start with the Helverin here. And the Helverin is going to pump everything that it's got into this back squad of infantry. The one right up on front does present an issue, but the plasma gun is a little bit harder to, or easier to deal with rather, than the missile launcher, and I'm trying to get the missile launchers off the board for my armor. So we'll start with the autocannons, 4d3 shots, for a total of 2, 4, 6 shots. We are hitting on 5s, but 6s automatically wound. Alright, so that's going to be 3 automatic wounds. And then on a 2, so that's going to be 4 at -2 against the armor of the guards. So they are in light cover. So that will bring them to 6 up saves. That's not going to do it. That's going to be 4 of the guardsmen taken off. Well, now the stubber into those guardsmen, getting 1 more hit. And then on a 3 to wound, re-rolling from the bondsman ability, nothing there. So 4 of them slain from the 1 armiger. Not bad. And now we are going to go into the paladin. Again, the paladin is going to end up with some split fire. His rapid fire battle cannon is going to go down the field into the manticore. The stubber built into that will go into the guardsman squad right here. The meltagun will go into the chimera right in front of him, while the missiles will also go into this squad of infantry. So we will start with number of shots for the rapid fire battle cannon. 11. So 11 shots from the rapid fire battle cannon. And only missing once. So that is pretty good. Then we will go to strength 8. So the ones will not, ones that. So that will be at least 3 wounds. Let me just double check if those 3s are it. Those 3s will wound, so it's going to be a -1 in total for the AP. And then, let's see, that is going to be 4 failed. We'll spend a command point to reroll this into another fail. So that is 3 damage a time. So that is 3, 6, 9, 12 wounds taken on the manticore. The manticore is no more. 11 wounds taking 12 has taken it off the table. So it definitely did its job in almost wiping out a whole warden, but that is not something the knights are going to have to worry about again. Now we're going to do the stubber into this squad of infantry on 3s and 3s. So that's going to be 4 at -1. Basically negates the cover, so 5 up saves for the guardsmen. Ooh, make 3, only fail 1. So 1 more guardsman removed from that squad. We'll do the meltagun into the chimera now on a 3. And that is not going to do it there. And then finally we will do the missiles into that squad of infantry. D6 shots for the infantry, or into the infantry. 3 shots on 3s. And 3s to wound. 2 more wounds at -1 AP. Getting the cover again, so 5 ups. Ooh, very lucky on saves there for the infantry. So that'll be it for the paladin and armiger. So now we go on to the warglaves and the warden. Starting with this warglaive, his thermal spear and meltagun are going to go into the plasma Leman Russ. So here are the thermal spears. A hit and a miss. So we'll use our honored ability to reroll 1 of our hits into another miss, unfortunately. So this will be a 3 to wound. Makes it at -4 AP. Goes to -3. And 2-up save for Leman Russ will bring it to a 5-up save. Not there. And we did use a reroll for the guard already. This is going to be a total of d6 plus 2 damage. For a total of 4. Not great. But I think at this point we will have to keep it like so. Then the melt-a-gun on a 3. And on a 4 now. No. So that will be that Warglaive there. And this Warglaive will measure up his distances to see where he wants to go. Alright, this other Warglaive that is available to shoot will do his thermal spear into the plasma Leman Russ and his melt-a-gun into the Chimera right in front of him. So we're going to be hitting the Leman Russ on 3s. So that's a hit and a miss. So we'll use the honored ability to reroll our hit. That's 1 hit, 1 automatic wound from the thin their ranks that I was able to do. And then on a 3 to wound. So that'll be 2 at -4, going to -3 AP. 5-up saves, make 1 and fail 1. So this is going to be another d6 plus 2 damage to the Plasma Russ. So another 4 damage to the Russ here. And then his last shot, his melt-a-gun, hits into the Chimera, wounds the Chimera, and then on a 6-up save, the Chimera does in fact make that. So that's everything for the Warglaives. This one fell back and is not going to be able to shoot. So we will come back with the final shots from the Warden. Again, the Warden is acting on full wounds from 2 CP being sent, so he's going to be split firing. The Flamer from his Gatling cannon is going to go into this squad of Mooks. The Stubber in his Carapace is going to fire into this squad on the Comms Relay Tower. Then the big gun, the Avenger Gatling, is going to go right into the Las Cannon team. So we'll do d6 shots from the Heavy Flamer, 2 shots of the Heavy Flamer, wounding on 3s, no wounds there, typical. Then we'll do the Stubber shots on 3s. Oof, that's no good. So maybe he is still feeling a little bit woozy from almost taking it in one fell swoop from the Manticore. However, here's the important one, the Avenger Gatling into the Las Cannons on 3s. And 2s. We'll reroll one of those. So the heavy weapon team suffer a total of 7 at -2. So these are 6-up armor saves. Each of these that goes through is 2 damage. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 damage on a 6-wound squad. That'll be another anti-vehicle squad taken off the field. That's going to be it for the shooting phase. So now we're just going to go into charges. This Warglaive into the Chimera on a 4. We'll make it in for sure. Then this Warglaive is going to go into the Bulgrin on a 9. Gets it with ease. So we'll just kind of sneak in even there. The Warden will, let's see, where does the Warden want to go? The Warden will actually not go anywhere in melee. Then the Paladin is going to charge through this crater, so -2, and he'll have to end up tagging both the Chimera and the Bulgrin. So we have a total of an 8 going down to a 6. Should be enough to get him in, but I'll double check and reroll if needed. No Overwatch from the Guard, and the Paladin was just able to get into melee with both the Bulgrin and the Chimera. But we're actually going to start with this Warglaive, hitting on 2s from our Oath, and we'll use a reroll there for 4 hits, and then wounding on 3s. So that's going to be 2 wounds at -3, and we will take both of these on to the invulns. So 4 up invulns, make 1 fail 1, and I think this is definitely where the Guard would want a reroll, but that's not going to do it, and that's 3 damage a time, so that is going to take 1 more Bulgrin off the table for the Guard. We're going to go and interrupt going down from 7 to 5 CP with the Guard for the Bulgrin to pile in and attack into the Paladin. Those will be 10 attacks on 3s. And then Strength 7 versus Toughness 8, so 5s. So that'll be 3 Bulgrin Mauls into the Paladin for 3s every time. So unfortunately, I do not believe that will pass any. Yes, so 3 failed, 2 damage each, so 6 damage into the Paladin. Good chunk of wounds there. And now it will be uninterrupted fights from the Knights. And since we're on him with the camera, we'll go into the Paladin next. And we're actually going to split our attacks a little bit, maybe a little bit risky. We're going to choose to do 2 attacks with the strike from the chainsword into the Chimera, and 2 from the sweep into the Bulgrin. It's going to end up being 6 attacks from his base of 4. I'm fairly certain that you're allowed to do the 2 different versions of the same weapon into different targets. If not, feel free to correct me in the comments. But since we did make a charge, these are going to be hitting on 2s. We'll do the strikes into the Chimera first. And we'll use our honored reroll here for 2 hits. And strength 14, wounding on 2s. And of course, that's a 1. We'll use a command point reroll here to try to take this Chimera out. That's going to be 2 at -4 AP, going to -3. So 6 ups on the Chimera. And that's not going to do it. That'll be 6 damage a time. 12 wounds into the Chimera will take it off the board. Does it blow up? It does not. So we'll get the guardsmen out and roll for whether they die in the disembarkation, then do the attacks into the Bulgrin. Only one of the guardsmen actually ended up dying from the disembarkation, so pretty good there. And now the sweeps into the Bulgrin, hitting on 2s. Oof, alright, definitely not re-rolling any of those. And this is strength 8 into toughness 5, so 3s. That's going to be 2 at -2 AP. So this will be 4 ups either way you slice it. But the Bulgrin are able to escape unscathed. So take the Chimera out and 1 more Bulgrin off the table in that melee. And now we will go to this Warglaive into the Chimera. We're going to do the strikes from the Reaper Chain Cleaver here with the Warglaive, hitting on 2 since we charged. And then strength 10, so 3s. And we'll use our honored reroll here. That's going to be 4 at -4. Going to -3, so 6 up saves for the Chimera. Make none of them. And even if we rerolled and made 1, that would still be 9 damage going through. That will take the Chimera out of the field, and it will not blow up. So that will get us another honor point for killing 2 things in melee. And then that will be the end of the fight phase. We'll go on to morale. So, morale on this squad, they lost 5 guardsmen, so 5 plus 6 is a definite fail. That's going to be 1 running away, and then on 1s and 2s for the rest, 2 more run away. So that'll leave just the missile launcher. So chip them down to basically the bare essentials for that squad. And we will see how well the guard can do, striking back in their turn 2. Here we are at the start of the shooting phase. Movement has been done, orders have been given out, stratagems have been used. So just kind of taking a sweep around. First rank fire has been ordered onto this squad and this squad that are in the middle of the board. The Bulgrins did have to fall back out of combat to open up the Paladin to shooting. Take aim again has been issued to the units back here. The Engine Seer has moved on up and starts healing the Leman Russ with the Plasma turret, who also 1 CP was spent to make it fight on full wounds again, or make this one fight on full wounds. And then the tank commander again has ordered his own tank to pound them to dust. So, set up to hopefully start taking care of some armor threats in this turn. So now we will go through the rest of the shooting phase of the guard, and by then, hopefully some of the armor will be gone. We're going to actually start off with this little squad of infantrymen with their last shots going into the warden, hoping to maybe sneak an easy wound in and take him down without risking or using any bigger fire threats. So 2 automatic wounds and then 6s here. That's going to be 3 3-ups. Alright, unfortunately it does save all of his wounds, but at least that will make sure that he gets them used appropriately. Over here, with the tank commander, he's not going to risk anything. Both of his heavy bolters are going to go into this armiger right here, and then the demolisher and las are going to go into the warden. Seeing as both of them are only on 1 wound remaining, and hopefully will be off the table for the guard, I'm not going to rotate either of their ion shields, so we will just let it go. And we will do the heavy bolters into the armiger first. Hitting 1, 2 automatic wounds, and then 5s to wound. So we get 1 more wound at -1 AP, so 4-ups. And that'll be 2 failed, so that will take that armiger off the table finally. And he will explode. We'll see if he is in range of anything. Maybe this squad of infantry and maybe his fellow armiger. But other than that, that is the first armor kill for the guard. The armiger explosion took out the 3 remaining guardsmen back here and took 2 wounds off the warglaive. Now we'll do the demolisher siege cannon from the tank commander into the warden. So, D3 shots, or 2D3 shots. We'll reroll both of those for a total of 4 shots. So So we will do like so. 3s, rerolling 1s. So all hit. And then 3s to wound. There you go. So that is going to be 4 at a total of -4. So the invuln is not going to do it. So that will be the warden gone. And I do not believe that will be an explosion. Next up, we're going to do the plasma Leman Russ everything into this warglaive right here. And here we are going to use rotate ion shields. So yeah, it's going to give him the 4-up invuln, and we will use the overcharged version of the turret. So 2d6 plasma shots for 7 plasma shots in total, for a total of a 4 rerolling 1s. It's going to be 3 automatic wounds. And then 3s to wound here. That's going to be 5 at the 4th invuln. Make 3, fail 2. So that'll be 2 plasma shots going through. And now the heavy bolters. 4s. Rerolling our 1s. For a total of 3 hits. Strength 5, toughness 7, so 5s. 1 at -1. Oop, not in the box. 1 at -1. Will go through. That'll be another 2 damage. Taking that one down to 6. And then, unfortunately, that's probably about it for heavy weaponry. Other than the 2 las cannons. Or not las cannons, the 2 missile launchers. So the lone missile launcher will go into the paladin, and then I will measure it up and see what we can get with the rest of this squad. So both of the missile launchers are going to go into the warden, and all the las guns from the squad are going to go into the warglaive here. We'll do the missile launchers together just to save a little bit of time. So 4s, rerolling everything. That's 1 hit, 1 miss, rerolling. That's going to be 2 hits, and then missile launcher, 4s to wound into a big knight. 1 into a, let's see, 5 up, and makes it. So missiles don't go through. Then we'll do the las shots off camera into the warglaive. 1 more wound dealt to the warglaive in the center from the infantry. Then these 2 infantry squads left to fire. So we're going to start with these over here that received first rank, or both of them received first rank fire, second rank fire. So we'll start off with these. We'll overcharge the plasma, everything into the Helverin. We'll do the plasma on camera and then finish up with las if needed. So 2 plasma overcharging will both be misses and take the plasma gunner out. So we'll do all of the las shots into the Helverin quickly off camera. It's a total of 6 wounds going through, no AP from las into the Helverin. For 1 more wound going through. And let's see, the second squad here, they are going to try to do the same thing. So all of their shots going into the Helverin, overcharging the plasma again. So we'll do plasma first. Alright, 1 misses, but 1 automatically wounds. And then on his 5-up invuln, does not make it. So that will cause the Helverin to go boom. Does he go boom? Nope, where's the die? Alright, there it is. That's a 2. That is not an explosion. that is yet another armiger off the table. So in one turn, that is half the models of the Knight Army off the board. Then this squad of infantrymen are going to charge into the Warglaive, trying to slow him down a bit. No CP, so no Overwatch. And then a double 1 on the charge. Definitely not going to do it. Might as well try for a reroll. And with a 4, that might not do it for the guard. And that's a negative. They needed a 5 on the die, not a 4. So, with that, only thing left to do is see how the action to jam up this static on the Vox network turns out. Need a 3-up. Gets another one. So that is halfway done for the Vox cleared up for the guard. So perhaps they will be able to survive or take out the knights before they continue to overrun the infantry of the Cadian 317th. We're going to go on to round 3 for the knights. Turn 3, and here's how we're looking. The paladin has been successfully move blocked by the infantrymen, but he is still well within line of sight of what he needs to take down, while the Warglaive is stuck between the two options of where he's going to go. So it's probably going to be a decision of who does what, or what his weapons actually are able to do. So I do not believe the Warglaive is within range of the bondsman ability of the paladin. If he is, he'll receive it. If not, they'll have to unfortunately go to waste. But with that, we're free to go right on into the shooting phase. The Warglaive was just in range to receive the bondsman ability, so he'll be re-rolling his 1s to hit and to wound. So all of his shots are going to go into the plasma Leman Russ right here. So we'll start off with the main Meltagun. And getting to re-roll his 1s to hit. Turning those into 2 hits with a 6 and a 5. And then 3s to wound. Re-rolling his 1s. Can't reroll into a reroll, so that's -4, -3, so goes to a 5-up save for the tank, and on a 5, he'll live. Now quickly the plasma, rerolling his 1s, so that will unfortunately be misses on his shooting. So now we will have to rely on the paladin to chop through the rest of the guard. So, paladin split firing as per usual now. His Meltagun and his Stubber are going to go into the squad right here. The missile launcher up top is going to go into the lone remaining guard with the missile launcher, and then the rapid fire battle cannon is going to go to that squad of full infantry with a missile launcher. So now we're going to do 2d6 for the shots of the rapid fire battle cannon for 9 shots. 9 shots on 3s. And then 2s to kill. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them killed off of the main fortress of the guard. Now the Stubber into this squad on the side, on 3s, and on 3s. We'll use our reroll here. So that's 2 at -1. Make 1, fail 1, so that'll take 1 of the guardsmen off of that. And then finally the Meltagun and missile launcher into the lone remaining guardsman with the missile launcher. Number of shots for the missile that he has. 3s, And that was cocked, so re-rolling. That's going to be 3 on 3s. That's 2 at -1. Bring him back up to his 5-up save. That'll be 2 damage going through, taking out 1 more missile launcher, and wiping another squad. So that'll do it for the shooting phase for the knights. Now we go into charges. The paladin has charged in no problem to the infantry here, and the warglaive is going to be charging into the tank right on over here, who has spent 2 CP to fire Overwatch and Overwatch on 5s. So we're going to start with the heavy bolters on 5s. Fell off the table. Cadian and stood still, so rerun our 1s. So getting a total of 3 automatic wounds, and then 1 more on a 5-up. Nope. So this is going to be 4 at 4s. Mix all of the saves from the bolters. Then 2d6 for the plasma. 5 shots from the turret on Overwatch on 5s. And I did not declare it, so I won't Overwatch, or I will not overcharge, rather, in Overwatch. And then that's not going to be anything on the warglaive as he goes right on into the fight phase. We're going to start here with the warglaive going into the Leman Russ using the strike attacks, so getting 4 attacks, normally hitting on 4s, back to 3s because we are honored and our oaths give us +1 to hit on the charge if we're charged or heroically intervene. And that's going to be 2. We will use one of our rerolls here for a miss. And then strength 10, wounding on 3s. That's going to be 2 at -4 AP. So that'll be 5-up saves for the Leman Russ. Fail both of those. And that is 3 damage a time. So that will be 6 damage going through. I actually will try to reroll one of those for the tank, but getting a 3 will not do it. So that will be the Leman Russ removed. Does it explode as it goes? And it does. So that is going to be a problem for the Astra Militarum. So after that explosion, the platoon commander got killed. The Tech Priest Engineer is on 2 wounds remaining, and then the final men of the squad with the missile launcher were also killed in the explosion. Took the warglaive down to 2 wounds left, so that is something at least. But now we will go on to the Paladin, sweeping through this infantry squad more than likely. And not surprisingly, the Paladin was able to sweep through the infantry squad like a hot knife through butter. So it is now just 1 infantry squad, 1 company commander, a 2nd company commander, the command squad, a half-wound engineer, full wound tank commander, and 3 Bulgrin versus 1 warglaive and 1 paladin on about 3/4 health. So definitely it looked like while most of the armor is removed, the Acadians will definitely still have a hard fight on their hands in their turn 3. Here we are in turn 3 for the Imperial Guard. The commander has issued his command squad to take aim. company commander over here has issued first ring fire, second ring fire on this squad to continue trying to hamper the paladin as it moves. Bullgrins are moving to close with the paladin, while the engine seer and tank commander are looking to hopefully bring the warglaive down in shooting. Tank commander issued himself pound them to dust, but he did have to move his full 10 to get around the barricade like so. So he will only be firing his demolisher once. We started off the shooting phase with this squad of guardsmen, and with first rank, second rank fire, they were able to get 2 wounds off of the paladin, bringing him down to 16, but more importantly, allowing overlapping fields of fire to be played for the last 2 command points for the Astra Militarum, to hopefully allow more shots to actually go into the paladin. So next up, we're going to do the squad, or the command squad back here. And yes, normally they wouldn't be allowed to shoot while doing an action, but we'll say that it is just the Voxmen clicking away on the control panel, and the other 3 are still able to do their shots. So we'll have 1 melta-gun shot and 3 las-gun shots going into the paladin. So 3 las and 1 plasma on 2, since they are veterans and have the crossfire, or not crossfire, the overlapping fields of fire. So it's going to be 6s on the las, and then a 4 will make it on the melta-gun. So a 3-up armor on the las will make it, and then our 4-up armor, or let me just double check whether this guy is the guy with 2-up armor or the invuln. So yes, our paladin is the one with ion bulwark, so this will be a 4-up invuln save in shooting. Will not do it, and I think at this point we do want to re-roll that, but we're not going to get it, so that'll be a melta shot going in for 3 more damage. Finally, over here with the tank commander, we're going to fire the demolisher into the warglaive, and then the heavy bolters and las cannon into the paladin. So we will do the demolisher cannon first, so D3 shots on a 1, we'll re-roll that back into a 1. So on a 3 to hit, hits once on a 5, and then on a 3 to wound, makes it, whoop, where's it going? There it is. Then 5-up invuln for the ion shield of the warglaive. Will not do it, and we do not have any rerolls there. So that is going to be 3 wounds taken off of the warglaive, which will bring him down. So on a 6, he explodes again. He does not explode, so that is a 1-man show for the knights for the paladin. 6 shots from the heavy bolters will be a full hit set of hits because of overlapping fields of fire, and tank commanders hit on 3s. 2 are automatically wounding, and then now 5s will get a total of 5 at -1. So 4 up. So make 4, fail 1. So that's going to be 2 damage caused by a heavy bolter. And then finally the las shot hits. And then on a 3 does not wound, unfortunately. So 2 more wounds done from the tank commander as we go into charges. In the charge phase, the Bullgrins have engaged the paladin and are swinging away with their avalanche of muscle. So 13 attacks, hitting on 3s from the 3 of them. And then that'll be 10 hits. Wounding on 5s. So that'll be a total of 2 going into the Paladin, and will unfortunately fail both of those. And I believe those are 2 damage each, so that should take him down to 7. With the Paladin being charged, that will gain him the benefit of one of the oaths, so an additional +1 to hit. So going back to hitting on 3s, we will do the sweep attacks into the Bulgrin. So a total of 12 attacks on 3s. And then this will be strength 8 versus toughness of 5. So 3s to wound, rerolling 1s innately from House Cadmus. And then we'll reroll one of those for our honored ability. So that will be a total of 3, 6, 9, 10 at -2 AP. So at -2, doesn't matter which one we put them on, because it's a 4-up armor or 4-up invuln regardless. So that'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 wounds done. And that will pick up the Bulgrin. However, that will also mean the Paladin is left alone on only 7 wounds remaining. So we'll go into turn 4 with the Knight remaining and see how much work he can do. Turn 4 with the Imperial Knights. Our remaining Knight Paladin has moved closer to the comms array and is going to have to be a one-man band trying to get through everything. So he is going to split fire. His battle cannon is going to rapid fire into the tank commander back there. Then everything else is going to fire into the command squad. In interest of allowing the infantrymen to at least try to win, I will say that the Fox caster will continue to be able to do the action even if he is slain. However, obviously that does take a 3-up ballistic skill las gun off of the table, but mostly just trying to kill as much as we can for the knight remaining. So we'll go into the shooting phase now. We're going to start with the missile pod on top going into the command squad for a total of 6 shots. And then on 4s, since we are in fact bracketed, so 3 hits, strength 5, toughness 3, will be 1 wound at -1 AP, forgoes the cover, so that'll be 1 of them slain. Now we'll do the stubber on 4s. And the stubber is on 3s to wound. 1 wound at -1, so again a 5-up. Makes it there. And then finally the melted gun hits and kills another one of the guardsmen. So that's everything but the rapid fire battle cannon, which will now fire into the tank commander. 2d6 shots for the battle cannon for a total of 8. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8. On 4s to hit. Then we will choose to use a reroll here. That'll be a total of 2 wounds at 8, so needing 4s. Getting 4s, so at -2, goes to -1. So 3-up saves for the battle tank. Make them both, so that will be the Lehman Russ commander unfazed from the shooting, but other than that, it looks like he will be about the only effective firepower left to take down this knight. Here, the Paladin has charged into the infantry squad to hit them on 3s in melee. And then on 2s to kill, re-rolling for Cadmus, that will be 6, 7 of the Cadian infantrymen taken out, just leaving the commander. Paladin piled into the company commander, who did nothing with his attacks, and the leader of this squad ran away due to morale. So it is definitely going to be close. We have good anti-tank weaponry on the tank commander, but if that is not able to do it, it might be curtains for the guard as we go into their turn 4. Turn 4 with the Imperial Guard. Our company commander on the front lines has fallen back from the Paladin, and the tank commander has moved up less than 5 inches to double fire his demolisher into the knight, ordering himself to pound them to dust, and the warlord commanding his 2 remaining veterans to take aim. So we're just going to go right into the Leman Russ demolisher. So 2d3 shots from the demolisher. We'll reroll that back into a 1. So 3 shots from the demolisher on 3s. 2 misses, but 1 automatically goes through for a wound. So a 4-up invuln makes it. Then the las cannon from the tank commander will be a hit on a 5. Wounding on a 3. Then that's another wound. 4-up invuln makes it again. So it looks like the Paladin does not want to take it down. So now we will go into the heavy bolters. Missing twice, but automatically wounding once, and needing 5s. Ooh, so full spread of hits. So 4 at -1 will be the 4th invuln save. That would be 4 damage there, so we'll use a reroll to be another fail. So 2 heavy bolter shots go through, bringing him down to 3. Finally, we have the Meltagun and the las from the veterans into the remaining knight. So on 3s, rerolling everything. So that's going to be 6s for the las, nothing. And then a 4 with the Meltagun. We'll make it for a 4-up invuln in shooting. And makes it. So that looks like it is going to be everything for the guard, other than the roll to see if we can get communication through. Definitely have 1 knight within 12 inches of the relay tower, so needing a 4-up. Does not make it this time, so the signal is jammed, and the Paladin has a chance to continue taking the guardsmen out. Turn 5 with the knights, and at this point it'll be just a summary. Paladin has moved closer. If he can't kill the Leman Russ in shooting, he will go for a charge into it, but other than that, he will continue opening fire. Battle cannon, and at this point Meltagun is going to go into the Leman Russ. Everything else is going to go into the veterans. The wear and tear of war is definitely telling on the Paladin. He was able to get 6 wounds through on the tank commander, 2 shots from the battle cannon, but was not able to pick off any of the knights or any of the guardsmen. And now he is going to attempt to charge into the Leman Russ, who will overwatch. We'll just see how far he gets on his charge. For a 5, not going to do it. I'll use the 1 reroll for an 11-incher. So if he is not killed in Overwatch, he will make it into combat with the tank commander. And this is the way that The Knight Lance of House Cadmus has fallen. It was actually Heavy Bolter that slayed the beast. In Overwatch, he was not able to take it. 2 Heavy Bolters went through, taking him down 4 wounds when he's only on 3. And with no CP to reroll any saves, he fell quite close. Unfortunately, blood has been spilled, and many fine war machines of the Imperium lie in smoking ruins. But the few loyal guardsmen of the Cadian who have survived will have to investigate why what they thought was once a loyal servant to the Emperor came to destroy them and their works. So, hope everybody enjoyed this narrative battle report. Make sure that everybody hits like, subscribe, and comments. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel. And I hope everybody has fun and is working on something that they enjoy, whether it's painting, playing, or just reading up on lore. And I will see everybody on the next battlefield of the 41st Millennium. Mission report. Complete success, my lord. 5 armor kills of the House Cadmus have been fallen. Complete annihilation of the Knight Lance. Vox Antenna stands nearly unguarded. Significant casualties in local Astromilitarum forces. World is primed for you. Hydra Dominatus. Long live Alfarius.